on the right, I'm joined by the Chief Electoral Officer, Mr. Simon Mabolo. Next to CEO, who are joined by Commissioner Love, will be briefing South Africans and South Africans abroad on what are the preparations for the voter registration weekend. Without much ado, let me allow the CEO to brief the nation. Thank you, CEO.
Thank you very much, and greetings to all. The Electoral Commission is pleased to announce that over 18,000 South Africans living in 101 countries around the world have started registering to vote using the newly launched online registration portal. The system has been operational since December 2023. The countries with the most registration online include the United Kingdom with 5,900, the Netherlands 1,800, Germany 746, the United States 821, Ireland 675, the United Arab Emirates 1,068, China 515, Australia 588, New Zealand 314, Cuba 293, Portugal 284, and Belgium 280. On the African continent, South Africans have also begun registering in 28 countries, including Mauritius at 316, Lesotho 224, Namibia 148, Botswana 170, Zambia 96, Zimbabwe 77, Kenya 73, Ghana 45, and Tanzania at 40. The Electoral Commission has enabled online registration facility for the first time to allow South Africans outside of the country to easily register for the forthcoming 2024 national elections. In 2019, about 21,000 South Africans voted abroad, with 7,000 of them registering for the first time ahead of that election. The Commission hopes that the introduction of the online registration system will attract a majority of citizens who are living outside the Republic. So we take this opportunity to thank everyone who has heeded our call to use the online system and appeal to citizens living outside of the country to take advantage of the forthcoming overseas voter registration weekend on the 26th, 27th, and 28th of January this year. Citizens may register as voters either online or in person at the nearest South African mission. South African High Commissions, embassies, and consulates will be open during working hours over a 2-day period. Eligible voters are encouraged to check with their nearest mission on the registration dates and times. Registration requires a South African identity document as well as a South African passport. Now, in terms of the identity document, a green barcoded ID or a smart card ID document is competent for purposes of registration. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation has informed us that 3 missions, that being Israel, Sudan, and Ukraine, have been temporarily closed due to security concerns. We will take the best possible steps to ensure that everyone participates in this democratic process. we encourage citizens in these countries to register using the online portal. A special two-day voter registration event for South African citizens abroad will take place on between the 26th and 28th January 2024, depending on the configuration of a weekend in the respective countries. For example, in countries where the weekend is a Saturday and Sunday, the registration event will take place on Saturday and Sunday. However, in countries where Friday and Saturday are weekends, the two special days designated will be Friday, the 26th January, and Saturday, the 27th January 2024. The Commission wishes to advise South Africans who are already registered to vote, either on the national or international segment of the voters' roll, to check their registration details and to update the voters' roll address if they intend to vote in the forthcoming elections. We have put all necessary measures to ensure that no one is left behind, and that all citizens are given an opportunity to vote in the 2024 national election. The upcoming elections offer an important opportunity for South Africans to have their voices heard, regardless of the geographic location. Just an overview of the online registration process is accessed through our public website and reaching the Register to Vote Abroad portal. And then there's an online form that needs to be completed. And then you upload your ID document where the photo is reflected, as well as the personal details, as well as a copy of your passport. And then once those are verified, you submit, and a confirmation email is sent to you almost instantly. We extend our gratitude to DECO for its ongoing assistance in ensuring that we reach as many citizens living in other countries as possible, as well as for allowing the Commission to use all embassies as voter registration stations. A full list of the missions is available on DECO's website. The Commission further pleads with businesses and organizations around the world to encourage their South African employees to register during this registration weekend. In the same breath, we also call upon members of the media to assist us by spreading the word all over the world. Voter registration is the first crucial step towards making your voice heard. It ensures you are included in the National Common Voters Roll, thus enabling you to cast your vote in the upcoming elections. Register to vote either online today or in person at the South African Mission over the next 3 days, and let your voice echo across the borders, resonating with the spirit of democracy that binds us all. It's your democracy, own it, and we thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. I'm going to open the floor for questions of clarity. Please introduce yourself and the media house you come from. Okay.
Hi, good day. It's Kylie Kumalo here from SABC. I just want to understand in terms of, countries where, you have diplomatic missions, big countries, for example, like China. Is the IC doing anything at all in terms of making sure that the process is very much friendly but also reachable to all people. I mean, if you're on the other side of China, reaching Beijing and Shanghai, are you perhaps looking at ways to make the process as just widely as possible so that you reach all these South Africans? And maybe just a quick one. In terms of the actual numbers of South Africans, these 18,000, is it the initial figure that you have so far? Thank you so much.
Junior Kumalo from Newsroom Africa. You spoke about 3 missions, including Israel, that have been closed due to security concerns. Could you please give us a bit more on that? Is it because of the ongoing conflict between Israel and Gaza, or what has caused that closure? And the second question is around the DA has already indicated that it might be taking the IEC to court because of its failure to increase the number of missions from the 125, because they're saying that it's impossible for some citizens to physically go to capital cities in these other countries. Have you responded to that concern by the DA, or are you just hoping that most of those South Africans will just vote online and not increase the number of missions? Thank you.
Any other hands that are missing before the CEO respond?
Sorry, can I just add another one? Junior Kumalo again from Newsroom Africa. There was a challenge last year in November with the IEC, with the voter registration online for South Africans living abroad, because the IEC said there had to be a change of legislation before this could be made possible. How did the IEC resolve that? Thank you.
Any other question I'm missing whilst Commissioner Love will be responding to the questions? All right, Commissioner Love, let's deal with the questions. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you very much. I think that maybe let's just deal with the issue of the 18,000. The 18,000 that was quoted is a figure of those people who have registered online using our newly developed portal. This does not include people who may have registered previously, but we are encouraging them to check their registration details, of course, even if they were registered in the same segment for previous elections. But we are hoping that during the course, especially of the coming weekend, and also during the coming days, that all people who are going to be, who either live abroad or who are going to be abroad during that period, maybe if they're students, between now and the August date, which is when the elections can take place, that they will indeed register and make sure that they are able to vote when we all know when that vote will take place. So that's what the 18,000 is about. Now, with regard to the questions that were asked by through both interventions relating to increasing the number of missions, you know, this is something that it's really important for us to emphasize. The IEC does not make the laws. The IEC takes the laws and implements them as fully as possible. And the law is what prescribes the fact that these are the places where people can vote. We don't at this stage have a possibility for voting online. As we have indicated in previous interactions with yourselves, the IEC has been looking at ways of using technology increasingly, and this is clearly something that we do need to take on board, not just for people who are living abroad, but for South Africans. But that is not an opportunity available to us now, and the law itself does not provide for that at the moment. I think that lastly, the question that was asked about the 3 missions that that we had mentioned, we've been advised by DIRCO will not be operating. We are not in a position to make any further explanation. We know that it's possible for you to engage with the spokespersons of DIRCO, But this is what they have told us. We can only tell you that they have indicated that it is from a security point of view. I think I've dealt with the question.
Let me take the last round before we wrap up the afternoon. Any outstanding questions? I see one hand. Okay, let's proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Kate. Slinda Lomasingane from ENCA. Just to elaborate on those 3 missions, I understand you are referring us back to DIRCO, but in your statement you say you're going to take the best possible steps to ensure that everyone participates in this democratic process. How does that look like for South Africans living in Israel, in Sudan, and in Ukraine? Where are they going to vote?
Any other question before we proceed? All questions covered? Kaini, from your side, are you good? Thank you very much. Commissioner Love?
As far as we are concerned, the only best possible steps that we can take are to really encourage those people at least to register. Because as you know, if you are not registered, even if, as we all, I'm sure, within not just this country, but many parts of the world, if not all the world, hope that the security situations in all 3 countries will abate, and we will have a situation where people can go to the missions. The reality is that if that happens and our date of elections has been proclaimed and people have not registered, then they still will not be able to vote. So I think the first thing is to really encourage people to register. I think the second thing also is that notwithstanding the security indications that we've had, we are still asking our colleagues in DIRCO to please communicate widely, to really make people aware of the online opportunities. And I think, again, through yourselves, we are asking you to do the same, because it really is important that we see those numbers, we see those people on our roll, and hopefully they will have the opportunity to vote in those countries.
Thank you, Commissioner Love. I've got a question here from Ndumiso Melo from Chinua News. Please, could you clarify that former President Jacob Zuma is disqualified from contesting in the next elections? Please clarify, from Ndumiso. Thank you.
At this stage, all that we can say is that we, again, are obliged as a commission to abide by the laws of this country. And our constitution itself prescribes who is possible to be eligible as a candidate and on the lists of any political party. That excludes anybody who has been given a sentence which was not the subject of any deferral or so on. And in that sense, it is not ourselves, but the laws of the country that would stand as an impediment for that candidacy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues. If there are no further questions, may I bring this press briefing to a close. Any other issues we can deal with from the platforms that the Electoral Commission provide, be it our WhatsApp line, our spokesperson inbox. The statement is available both here physically, but also it's available on your platforms. On that note, thank you very much for supporting this briefing this afternoon. The work is out there where we ensure that every South African abroad is able to get the service that is required of us as the Electoral Commission. On that note, thank you, CEO. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, James. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen from the media, we truly appreciate your efforts for coming to this building. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I know I've got one-on-ones, you know?